Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. I'm going to try to make this video a shorter one somewhat, but I know I'm just eating a very light lunch here. But I wanted to have make this video probably in several segments. It's kind of what I see that is wrong with the world, and maybe some things that can remedy it. In this particular segment of this topic, I'll be covering this quite a bit over the next few days. Let's just talk about what's wrong with the way that companies treat people, especially younger people and people that are just not quite having the job that they really want. But not just companies, large institutions, even colleges. Not so much always. Depends on the professor. Depends. Some companies are ethical. Some professors are ethical. But sorry, you're gonna have to deal with my chewing. But yeah, so what's wrong with these companies and things? Well, they view people that are less skilled and younger, less experienced in work or whatever as things that they could just kind of take advantage of. People they can take advantage of. They use their money and their power to get their way. And if you've dealt with this in your life, to one direction to another, you know what I'm talking about. When a person is only valued for the service they can provide to a company, but not even that, when they're or when a student is only valued for the money they can give to a company, and the prestige they can give a college or whatever, and all this self-centered crud, right? It's not the way things should be. Some people have used the term "it's not working out" to describe someone who is going to be terminated, fired, laid off, especially one of the first few things. But there's a lot of different terms for, a lot of different, it's all very confusing. But a lot of times companies, I'm kind of kidding companies a bit more than colleges, but colleges are no less guilty of this sometimes because they're kind of set up to, make money. It's all about making money, and if you make the money for the companies, you pay lots of money for classes, and it just benefits the company and the college. Now, we can get into education versus business type mindsets and things, or throw in other elements as well, like aesthetics or whatever. But this is one of the major things that's wrong with the world. You can also talk about government taxes and stuff too. But everything in the world revolves around money, and it shouldn't. Some people have suggested this thing where you can exchange services for, if you want something, instead of always going the money route, you can barter or exchange services for goods or services for services. And it's interesting to me, but it needs to be a broader thing if that gets going. I someone suggested that to me a while back. It's something, but no, it should get to be it's like Bitcoin. It's just not very big, quote unquote. But it's not cool, because the people that benefit the most are, again, the people that I almost say inherit or have perks to get. Sometimes minorities see, say, certain kinds of white people as being having all the perks, getting the good jobs, getting the good life. Well, it makes a lot of sense to me why people think that way, because actually, in some respects, it is true. I do believe that there are not just white people are that inherit wealth, or that are just given very desirable job positions, but I mean, yeah, it's a reality. But the thing is that most white people, of course, aren't in that. They're not in the club. They're not in the Illuminati, or not in whatever. And so, and some of us don't want to be, just flat out don't want to be, have anything to do with those guys. Some of us don't even want anything to do with money. Um, we would rather, yeah, I mean, it's just, what do you really need in life, kind of thing. And there's all these things that are foisted on us by society that we don't really need, but they're told that we need, but we don't. Do we really need it? Medical insurance might be a good thing, though. But I think we all agree that, for the most part, naturopaths can help us a lot more than regular doctors, unless you have a major operation you have to take care of, or certain other things like that. But, it depends on the situation. But, I mean, it's like, okay, I'm thinking back to companies and colleges. Well, a lot of times, you can end up going to college for a long, long time, rack up a lot of debt. My parents were really careful not to help us not get in debt in the first place. My parents are amazing. I went into the arts, which is always risky, but I knew I could make it in the arts because I have the skill level, the skill set to make it. But loans, student loans, man. I mean, I don't know. And colleges are not very honest with students about what they're gonna actually, the life is gonna be like after college. You have to really read between the lines. That's not right. But let's get back to companies for a second. A lot of times, companies don't want to help you with down the road. They don't want to give you any benefits unless they have to. You have to get a unionized job for a lot of these things. A lot of jobs are depressing, and you don't want to be there. So it can be soul crushing. Sometimes very much so. Retail can be so bad, even though it's maybe a little cushier physically in some respects. Some respects, depending on the job. I mean, we want to get like a warehouse job or a janitorial job or something like that, just to avoid sometimes dealing with certain kinds of people. And, if you had a retail job, they pride people on how well they can deal with all kinds of people, right, from all walks of life. Well, it's a good skill set. It shouldn't be something where where a person feels like they're less employable in many other areas of work, simply because they have a hard time dealing with certain kinds of people. You can always get better at dealing with people in general. That's something it's a skill or an attribute that will develop over time, or what to say to different kinds of people, and everything like that. You just get better over time at all these things. But yeah, and a lot of times, there's only so much money that these companies have, and they are in business to make money, of course. But there's ethical and unethical ways of going about doing that, and there's not enough government oversight regarding business and colleges. You have colleges that try to just cash cows. Like, what we need is they just try to get as much money as they can, because in addition to what they should be doing, which is education, for the most part, and professors spending more time, effort on educating students, because that's where a lot of their money's coming. It's just, this is where the money interferes with education again. It's a matter of priorities. By the way, these PCC tangerines are quite good. Quite good. Extremely good. But it's just I mean, like I should have sent. I know this for a long time. It's been growing in my back of my mind. These, the selfish way that you know corporate culture is. I should more to the point. What it doesn't do, or what a lot of most companies just don't do to help people, whether they're young or not, doesn't really matter. It's the same deal with colleges. Um, they're not honest about what jobs you're going to have for the classes you take, and you could end up in a huge amount of debt for the rest of your life, and you have to pay taxes still, whatever jobs you have, especially if you're self-employed. And this is sort of one of the major things that's wrong with the world. And what can we do to remedy it? Well, I would say if there's anything I want government to do, it's something having to do with this very point. And I want people to stop tolerating this nonsense and this tyranny and think, oh, this is just the way things. No, no, no. This is not the way things should be. It never has been. Colleges should be 100% honest with all students about what is going to happen after being in college, what employers are looking for, but not just a lot of professors aren't honest with students because they want to keep their jobs. They want to keep as many students in their classes as they can, their programs. They don't want to lose students because that would mean they might be out of a job themselves. I still believe that going into the arts is a very good thing. You might want to get a double major, something more practical, and other skills. The more skills you have in the arts, if you're really skilled in the arts, by the way, the better employable you'll be. Obviously, being a certified teacher, or whatever, is more of a state government run kind of shebang, and all that stuff. That's a little different, maybe in some respects, but it's still skill oriented. But still, anything requiring a certificate, like teaching, public school teaching is a little different. But yeah, I mean, just I see it. I see dishonesty, and I see time and time again people, older generations, many people, including my own parents, in some respects, they don't see the abuse. I would call it abuse that's going on toward young people and toward people in general. It's everyone, but young people in particular, but yeah, everyone that does not have it's not a place in life where they would like to be. And one of the biggest reasons why this is it has to do again with non-transparency in companies, trying to wheel and deal everybody, not only customers, but more especially their employees that are lower level, trying to just wear them out. I mean, you think that this is just retail or whatever else type of grunt level job? No, no, no. They've done similar things with software programmers. If you're young and you have a lot of energy and you can work endless hours, they'll hire you because they know that you'll be a workhorse, and they might lay off someone who's older because they can't work as hard as the younger people. Is that fair? No, it's not. And now I'm talking more with older people that are saying, I'm talking about computer programming. But I have relatives that have had jobs that, that are programmers, and they've been okay because, their skill set is still usable by the company. And again, you got to do what you got to do to, maximize your profits ethically. But, and sometimes you do need to lay off people. But what you don't do, when you invest in people, whether you're talking about college or a company, whatever college or company does that, when you invest in the people that are supporting your business or supporting your college, or that are learning from you, that will always help you more down the road. You don't want to be too generous with things, of course, but that's the way to go. And so, if government won't step up, and I'm looking at Trump still, all these other people but what do they do? So I mean, like, Trump is a pretty decent president in terms of what his program, how effective he's been. But there's so many things he falls short in, so many things. So I mean, he's a good president. You be the judge. I think he's actually better than many, but still is not what. He still falls very short of what a good president I think should be. A really good president. So yeah, some of these big companies have a lot of power. We need to break that power somehow. And the main thing is we need to talk more about this stuff amongst ourselves and get it out there, not be afraid to confront companies that abuse their workers, that do not invest in their workers, and they just wear them out. And when these old employees are done, whether they were laid off, terminated, or quit themselves, or whatever it was, they don't feel like they've been used, right? That their time has been wasted, right? I feel really strongly about this, and this has to do everything to do with everybody. It's every race, every ethnicity, every religion, especially in the United States. We need to talk more about this stuff, and we need to end this crap. And if colleges need to spend more money on students and less on research. If the scientific stuff, have that be something that is a government-related thing, not something that students pay money for, but they don't see the benefit of. If it's some kind of scientific research, where does the money come to support scientific research? Well, it should come from people that want to, further benefit from technology, whether it's something medical or something physics related or whatever it is. And maybe it's debatable whether or not that should be something taxable for like a government kind of thing. But, government grants, yeah, I personally think that the money to support this stuff should come from people that are interested in this stuff. So companies that are involved with science and technology should put out some money, support, the scientific research, and then those companies can get greater recognition for supporting these sorts of things. It's the same thing with the arts. The arts, maybe there's a stronger connection with either recreation or education or cultural enrichment, but it's the companies that are more connected with the arts that sometimes should be supporting them more. So some company like Boeing should be supporting scientific research more. A company like a musical instrument company like Yamaha. Yamaha should be supporting symphony orchestras more. It just makes perfect sense to me. So anyway, leave me your thoughts and comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.